What is up, everybody? Gary Simon here. So today, I like to revisit this topic. I've done logo design in the past. I was exclusively a logo designer for over 5 to 6 years, dealing with tons of clients. And I wanted to show you my thought process about, just rapid logo design concepts, just output. And so I'm going to show you one way that you can really challenge yourself. And I think I did quite well. I just finished it. So I do my intros after the videos, obviously. And I knock out 3 different concepts. Not only do I knock out 3 concepts within about 25 minutes or so, I also come up with a name, and I use these 112 mobile app ideas, and I use a random number generator, and then I just use whatever I found. You'll see this. And so I come up with the name. So I show you my process for brainstorming concepts for business names, and also making sure they're available as a .com or .net or whatever. And then also, obviously coming up with the actual logo design concept in 3 different concepts that I think are all pretty effective. All right, so you can let me know what you think, and also if you did it, share your results with what you designed on Twitter. So my Twitter handle and link is there in the YouTube description. Anyhow, let's get started. Now wait 1 second. As you all know, I love getting my hands involved in a lot of different things, like logo design, for instance, also graphic design, and front-end development and UI design. Now front-end development, if you're not very good at front-end development, you need to check out the sponsor of this video, Scrimba.com. They've recently launched their front-end development career path, which is a collection of courses that cover HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, and much, much more, as you see. It's over 75 hours of awesome content. There are hundreds of interactive coding challenges, and it's all geared towards helping you go from beginner to someone that's hireable as a front-end developer. So check out the first link in the description below to get 50% off. Alrighty, here we go. I just typed in free app ideas. There's a few of these, like 112, 101, 40, 70, whatever. I'm just gonna click on the 112 one. And we're going to do random number generator. So there was 112. So the minimum is 1, max is 112. Generate number 40. Oh, that didn't work. There it is. Well, book review app. All right. So book review app that will let you take a picture of the book and get reviews instantly from Amazon, Goodreads, and other platforms to help you make a choice of whether to buy/read the book or not. All right, so it's a book review app that will let you take a picture of the book and get reviews instantly from Amazon. All right, so it's like this idea where you might be at a bookstore or something and you want to be able to quickly get reviews. So I guess you don't want to go on your phone, type in the name of the book and just put reviews. This is gonna help you take a picture of it. You just take a picture of it, and then all of a sudden it uses AI or something, and it feeds you a bunch of reviews from a multiple variety of platforms. So interesting idea, book review app. All right, so I didn't really consider the fact that these don't provide you with business names, which makes sense, but we need to have a business name for this. All right, so let's work this in here too. So this isn't just a logo design, tutorials, so to speak. It's also coming up with business names, I guess. And I completely have no clue what the name of this business is going to be. So in these cases, it's helpful when you're trying to come up with the name of a business, just to come up with some words that are associated with the business. These aren't necessarily words you're going to use, but it's helpful for brainstorming and all that stuff. In fact, let me get up another browser window off screen. I'm going to go to my Google Docs, and I'm going to create a blank document, and that way I can really make these large. I was going to use, Notepad, but it's kind of not ideal. Okay, so a book review app. So we're going to type in book. We're going to type in review. We're going to type in testimonials. We're going to type in, what else? You take a picture of something, right? So picture. At this point, you think of synonyms. So a synonym for review. So let's type in synonyms for review. All right. So analysis, evaluation, assessment, appraisal, Audit. That could be a cool part of the name. Audit. Let's see here. Critique, notice, assessment, study, probe, inquiry, scrutiny, rating. Rating might be one. Rater, whatever. Let's see. What else is there? Inspection, audit, appraisal, assess, praise, judge, weigh, write up, critique. Okay, so something like the few that we got there is pretty good. Let me get that back in there. Let's do synonyms for book. All right, so volume, tone, work, publication, title. Sometimes books are referred to as titles, I think. Guide, yeah, that makes sense because this is kind of guiding your decisions. So guide, journal, diary, ledger. I think ledger could work. All right, so I'm not going to do this much longer. This isn't the point of the tutorial, but I'm just going to go to instant domain search and start typing in some of these ideas where we could pair up some of these names. So like I guarantee you book audit is taken to .com at least. There's a bookaudit.net you can completely buy. The org, everything else. I bet you bookaudit.com. Of course, it's just a domain squatting company. So let's say, for instance, we're willing to buy. We want the .com, and we'll buy this, or we're not. Maybe we'll just do .net. That's completely fine. I like the name bookaudit.com. That's it's easy to remember. It's not long, and it really fits the idea pretty well. So bookaudit.com. So book audit is the name that we're going to go for, and now we have to come up with a logo. So I'm going to use Adobe Illustrator, and I'm going to get the type tool out. Book audit, and book audit. So I'm just doing title case, lowercase, just to get an idea. Now, one thing I didn't do before recording this, I wanted to come up with some different fonts, not ones that I've used before. I'm always using either Montserrat or Poppins, as those of you who follow this channel know. But I wanted to kind of experiment with some other typefaces and just to come up with something a little bit more interesting or unique. Now, of course, I have a bunch already installed, but I think I'm going to just pause this and just come up with some other resources and other fonts that I might want to try out. So actually, instead of downloading anything, I'm just going to go to dafont.com, and we're just going to go to under basic serif. Let me increase this a bit. And it gives you the option to put in like book audit or something like that. And we could also change these by more options. I wanted to see what that other text showed. I don't want anything ridiculous showing up. Public domain, 100% free. That's what we want. All right. So now we're going to get just, these ideas. Oh, this is serif I'm choosing. I didn't mean to choose serif, but let's go serif on this for the heck of it. Just because when you think of a book, you think of, with all the digital media out there, I'm not sure if book sales are down or whatever. It seems like more of a legacy thing in a sense. So book audit, we're going to use serif fonts for this. Actually, kind of like the look of this one. It's called New York. Let's open that up in a new tab. Oh, it's just going to download it right there anyhow. And I'm just going to browse through these just to see if there's anything that really sticks out to me that seems like it might be a good fit. All right, I think that's enough. Just with the 3 different options, just for the purpose of this quick video or whatever. I think we're just going to do that. So I'm going to take each one of these. I'm going to double click. We're going to install. Now this one is called New York. I'm just saving it for reference. I'll install this one. Let me drag that to my desktop and get these both installed. And install. This one was called, probably just fast forward this part. I am prime, I don't even know how to say that one. Okay. And then finally, this one. Ooh, there's a lot here. I'm gonna have to create a folder. No, I have not bought a license after 20 years. All right, new font, there we go. Installing. All right, so we're done with that part. All right, and let's just Control C, Control F, Control C, Control F. And we'll get the first typeface, which is New York. This one was what? Right here. And then the last one was Linux Libertine. Oh, that's cool. They provide like a capitals version. Now what I want to do is take all three of these, scale them down. That way I can kind of get like they're more separated by white spaces to kind of get an idea of, you know, what I want to use initially. These two are pretty similar. Very similar. So there's not much difference between these two. This one problem with it, you get small, it's hard to see. And they don't have a bold version. So I think we can just get rid of this one right away. So now, if we're confining ourselves obviously to just three options, we have it narrowed down to two. And this one's slightly more bold. Book audit, what do I want? Book audit. All right. You know what? I think I'm gonna go and look at these a little bit closer. I'm gonna go with this one, which is Linux Libertine. All right. So at this point, I'm gonna choose just the regular title case. And let me scale this up. So we got something bigger to work with here. All right. And so now we can get out the characters panel. Windows, characters. Where's it at? Am I blind? Or it's type. I'm thinking of a different application. I haven't used Illustrator recently, so I'm getting a little bit confused here. All right. Oopsie. There we go. Just bringing things in a tad bit. I'm gonna go ahead and convert everything here. Well, first let me do this. This is something that you could do as well. Visually, if you just take the second word right here and just keep it at a lowercase, it simplifies things because you don't have this this area, this large typeface that's kind of just breaking the flow of the type. So this is more simplistic. And if you want to separate the words, possibly, visually, you can do so in a variety of ways through color or anything else. So I think we're just gonna keep this down here. And then now I'm gonna convert to outlines. So Control-Shift-O will do that. So now no longer is it editable type. It's just shape-based layer. And then I can also right-click and ungroup these. And I'm just gonna eyeball the letter spacing here. Let's see. Felt like those book was a little bit more separated between the letter spacing compared to the audit type. So I'm just using my keyboard arrow keys just to adjust things. All right, so I like this. You know, it says book to me. Well, just outside of the fact that it has book in the name, just the overall feeling of the type being sans serif. I'm just gonna delete that for now. Or actually, you know what? Yeah, we just delete that. So now, you know, we could just leave it at this and make it a super simple, you know, word mark based logo. But it wouldn't be much of a logo design tutorial. I want to work something in either through the word mark itself that says, you know, that says something unique and relevant, or through a separate symbol. I'm a big fan of word marks. I always like working something in with a type rather than doing separate symbolism. But now I have to think of something that will be interesting. And, you know, some people get stuck in analysis paralysis when it comes to trying to think of, you know, doing something unique with their logo or coming up with symbolism. One idea I had while I was screwing around with the type within the past couple minutes is playing on the idea of an audit. You know, what is an audit? You know, so it's important to understand the definition of your terms that you're using in everyday life and conversation and debate and whatever, but also obviously with identity design. So we should know our definition. So audit definition. All right, it's an official inspection of an individual's or organization's accounts, typically by an independent body. An official inspection, so it is kind of like, you know, a testimonial or a review in a sense. So we can emphasize audit in a way. And my initial idea was to simply underline the damn thing. I mean, we could just do this. Now it looks like a hyperlink. Book audit. And so the idea here is it's placing emphasis under audit. Like, you know, whenever you're trying to highlight a word, you're auditing it in a sense, or you're placing importance on it. And so it's a very abstract, a very loose connection between what's happening with the app, but it's also very simple, and it could possibly work as one such very simple logo design concept. So we could just say this in and of itself is a logo design concept. So we can, you know, just put it up over here and say we're good with it. All right, so that's one concept. So I just busted out one concept right away, and we can explain it, you know, through some sort of explanatory graphic of some sense when you present it to a client, or if you're dealing with a client or whatever. All right, so book audit, what else are we doing here? What else can we work with? Right away, another one I just came up with within the past few seconds. Well, when you're auditing something, or when you look at somebody, your eyes, your pupils, right? They're looking at you. You can get a sense that maybe if somebody's really staring at you, they're auditing you, they're reviewing you, right? We have these two O's. Not the most unique thing ever, but let's go ahead and put them in there. See what happens if we do. Look at that. I like this concept. Because just because, you know, we're so recognized, or so trained, or I guess not trained is the word. We're just so familiar with the concept of eyes and looking into a person's face, like it's a very personal thing, that you see this right away and you kind of understand what the connection in here is between just the two circles within a larger context like this. And so reading it, book audit, you're understanding that there's a connection here. And it's a very simple connection. I kind of like that. That is another logo design concept. So we're just going to put that one right here as well. Now notice, these logos, we're not even working with color. We may not ever use color with it, but they also are very simple. You know, the best logos, in my opinion, are the most simple, and they can make a powerful statement, even though they're not using a bunch of gradients and there's a ton of lines everywhere and illustrations or whatever. So that's something to really consider. So at this point, I'm going to look at it more. What else do we have here? So book audit. All right. And you know, it may be worth trying to come up with separate symbolism, like book audit. So what if we feature, I don't want to be too obvious. That's not the word I'm looking for. I don't want to be too literal. So if I were just to do something like this, it might be kind of lame. So where's my pen tool at? Right here. Maybe do like an isometric sort of view of a book or something. Or maybe not isometric, but now if I go to my direct selection tool, boy, it's been a long time since I've worked within Illustrator here. I used to use it a lot more. All right, let's come down here. How many copies do I have of this? Okay, good. For some reason, I grabbed both of those. What I'm going to do is just Control-C, Control-F. All right. I like this possible idea. Might be a little bit overdone, but let me see here. Maybe we could work with this a little bit more because I'm going for a certain idea, an interesting concept that combines two ideas within a single symbolism. This could be perhaps the pages of a book in a very simplified, abstract manner, but also, not sure if I want to do that, a check mark saying, which could be an idea, like 3 different check marks, which could be symbolic of, like, hey, that's a good book, like it has been reviewed, so to speak. I don't like this exact portrayal of it. I'm going to experiment with some more different strokes here and ideas to try to get this nailed down. But I think at this point I'm just going to just do a time lapse. So you know what? I really like this. I like this for a concept. So now one thing I'll do is just copy this real quick and see what happens when I take this object path, outline stroke, and then we'll take a rectangle just to smooth off or just get rid of the angles at the end created from the stroke. So let's see here while I do group this. Now I'll just take all these with the Pathfinder and we'll divide all those and then just use the direct selection tool to get rid of all of those. So now we have a cleaner version of this here. And so now it becomes a question of, you know, how big is it? But just as a quick reference point. I really like that. So what's happening here is we have kind of like an isometric perception of a book. You know, maybe this is the top cover, this is the bottom cover, and this is an inner page. Very abstract, very simple. But it also can be symbolized as an overall check mark, like a green verified check mark. And now we've worked in, you know, a pretty cool, fairly unique looking symbolism for this project. And notice I didn't use any color. And if you want to, of course, you know, we can start working in ideas of color with this. Same thing with the other ones above. So, a book audit. First thing I'm thinking of, you know, when people are looking for a review of a book, they want the green light, right? They want like, okay, this is good. So green comes to mind for me for this. So if I take this, make this green, we'll group it first. We'll get some color ideas. Now, does it make sense to make this green as well? Oops. We got to, let's see here. There we go. I'm screwing this all up. What am I doing? Oh, I think there's some issues happening here. Ah, yep. I see it. Whenever you use some of those math operators, it screws things up. Or not math, like the Pathfinder operations. Let's try this again. There we go. I think that's the green that we used. It's a little bit vibrant, but you get the idea. So you could really start playing around with color and everything. I'm not going to worry about the color. But here, now we have 3 different logo design concepts that I personally think, let's see here, align. Let's get these grouped up appropriately. There we go. That is perfectly centered. Book audit. Let me take this. So, you know, doing these videos, sometimes a little bit worried that I might screw things up by putting myself into a situation where I can't think of a concept. But as you could see, I did pretty decent because I came up with several concepts that I think, you know, they're not all that great, but they're pretty decent given the time that I've been working on this video. And it's completely off the cuff. And so hopefully you all found that helpful, just to see, you know, my thought process when it comes to designing logos. And of course, logo design is something I haven't done, you know, for clients in many years, but I still something I really enjoy just because it gets you thinking, and plus it helps you come up with just different ideas and not have to work on the same thing like UI design all the time. So hopefully you guys all enjoyed this. All right, as always, I hope you enjoyed it. Share your results if you did the same thing. I want to see what you come up with. Mention me, you know, in Twitter. Again, Twitter URL, YouTube description. You all know that. And I'd like to see it. So subscribe, comment, like. See you soon. Goodbye.